Today's collectible spot, we are having a look at the K'NEX Building Worlds Kids Love, the Plants vs. Zombies motorized football mech. Another incredible building set coming to us from the folks over at K'NEX. You get yourself one minifigure or one zombie figure included. It is recommended for ages 7 and up. It does use 2 AA batteries, though sadly the batteries are not included. And this has 93 pieces. I think actually the Cone Mech, if I remember correctly, had 114 pieces. So this one actually has a little less pieces to it. And I found really was the easier of the 2 sets to put together. If we take the package and flip it to the back there's the image of the fully constructed football mech, complete with your zombie. He's included there as well. Also, for your consideration, there's a 1-to-1 scale picture of what the zombie will look like. For other building sets down below, and I think Spots actually had a look at all of those, we had the individual zombie carded figures, and then we had the Cone Mech, and then we had the Wild West sets as well. I think that one actually was the only one I didn't end up picking up, was a future, that looks like a future set. But you can head over to www.knex.com and also be sure to head over to facebook.com/buildknex to follow what they're doing over there as well. Also, don't forget to head over to plantsvszombies.com from the makers over at PopCap. What I'm going to do is take a break. Gonna get this opened up and put it together. When we come back, we're gonna get a better look at the K'NEX Plants vs. Zombies football mech. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Like every other K'NEX set, you get yourself an instruction guide included inside. It shows you how to put it together. Now again, it's not really so much a booklet, it's just a folded open pamphlet. But at least the football mech, again, I found was a lot easier to put together. It wasn't as intricate as the Cone Mech. Does also require 2 AA batteries, and Spot's already taken the liberty of picking up some batteries, so we can put those in, and I'll show you how the football mech works. But hold on to these. Whatever you do, hold on to these, so if something ever happens, like for example, my Cone Mech fell and a couple of pieces fell off, referenced my guide, it was good as new. I played Doctor, but with K'NEX. Putting that to the side, the minifigure that we get with the football mech is, of course, the same zombie as we got with the Cone Mech. I jokingly called him Mr. Furley. He kind of has a Mr. Furley look to him, especially with the white shoes going on down there. I believe both of these are from the future, I might be wrong, but the future Plants vs. Zombies stage. Still, currently, I think Plants vs. Zombies is probably one of my favorite iOS games. It's what I play on my iPhone 5 all the time. I think I'm probably about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way through the future stage. I think there might be a couple of stages after that, but a great game. If you haven't had a chance to play Plants vs. Zombies 2, what are you waiting for? As it goes, though, the zombie is kind of in like a track suit. He almost kind of looks also like Biff from Back to the Future. I don't know why I say that, but he does also have articulation in the head, as with the other zombie did. A nice ball joint in the head, ball socket shoulders, a hinge in the elbows, a swivel in the wrists, swivel in the waist, and legs go forward, back, a nice bend at the knee as well. Of course, too, your zombies will all have peg holes on the bottom sides of their feet, so you can take them, put them into the vehicle. And I find the football one is a little easier to get your zombie inside, just because he does have a completely open area that you can fit that zombie inside. You kind of have to bend the legs ever so gently just to kind of get him in there. And there we go, just bend him a little bit more, get him in there. But again, like, he gets in there and fits in there, I think, a little bit easier than the mech, the Cone Mech. And don't be surprised, maybe while putting him in, you get his arm to fall off. It's all right. They're very, very, very small ball joints, so there we go, just good as new. There he is, he's ready to go. Of course, before we before I turn this on and I show you guys how the mech looks, or works at least, let's have a look at the mech itself. Again, it's a really, really fun looking piece. Because with actually both sets, you have, let me just flip this upside down, you have one main component, which I think is the exact same motor that was on the Cone Mech, although you're just pegging in the connects pieces in just a little bit differently. This also has a lot less pieces, so building it a lot easier. Also, some really neat things is the front of the football helmet here. We've got some spikes going on there. In the game, I think, too, this whole front bumper moves forward. I think the whole thing and it drives me so crazy in the game, but the football helmet will move forward, and I think this part moves out. And basically it pushes every plant that you have to the very edge of the screen where the lawnmowers are. And if you have like things like sunflowers and stuff, it'll push it right off. It'll push it right off. Oh, so frustrating. Anyways, so the football mech does look exactly like it does in the game. Some of the pieces, like these two pieces fold together. These two halves fold together, and then this piece fits in the front. Very similar to the Cone Mech. The skeleton skull pieces are also separate pieces that peg in onto the side. But build time, I think it took me only really about 15 minutes. By comparison, just put the football mech down here. By comparison, I reach off camera here, and I bring in the Cone Mech. The Cone Mech was a lot more detail specific, I think, because there were so many more intricate pieces to it. Versus, as you can see, the football mech just really has one working leg, and I'll show you how that works in a second. So there's definitely a lot more busyness going on here. Very cool toy, and I like the fact that it looks more like a spider. This one kind of just more so propels itself. We'll revisit this in a second. I'll show you how both of them work on camera here. And then as for the football mech, you'll see that the way that the leg is positioned on an angle. So when it moves, if I can demonstrate, when it moves, it's going to move down and then it's going to kind of propel itself. Very similar to how it does in the game. So to use that, you've got your supplied remote control. I've got my 2 AA batteries in there, check. Got your off switch, your forward and your back. And then, you know what, we'll also, Spot just ended up twist tying these after I finished building them, but we'll untie these now. There we go. Show you how much, you have definitely a long cord to work with, which is good, especially if you're going to have it on the floor, depending on where you're going to be playing with it. So, to turn it on, you're just going to go forward or back, depending on your preference. So, bring the lever and we're just going to move it to the side. And you can see it moving backwards. Equally so, you can see how it moves forward. And because it's angled a certain way on the legs, it kind of does have that same way it's in the game, where it looks like it's pushing forward, it's pushing the things that you have completely off screen. It's a really neat touch. And also too, you'll see that because the poles are sitting in those sockets, the poles allow the unit to lift completely up and then drop back down. If we, and I know Spot's already done the review of it, but we bring in the Cone Mech, just want to show you how the two work together. Got myself my dueling remotes here, and we're going to bring these forward. And you can see how the football helmet kind of just, again, propels itself, whereas the Cone Mech is more like a spider. And there they are again, walking backwards. I really feel like the Cone Mech is more fun to look at, as it has more of a spider crawling look to it. But I think really my personal favorite could easily be the football mech. It just has a lot of character to it. A nice vibrant red. I love the spikes in the front. And I find the little guy, the little zombie inside. Hey kids! The little Mr. Furley Biff zombie sits a little bit easier in his cockpit rather than the one that had to sit in that little small area in the mech cone. But two equally cool motorized toys come to us from the folks over at K'NEX. These are now available in stores, pretty much where any building toys are located. And I would really say that these are fun little pickups. Of the two, the football mech is the easier to build, so depending on, if you have a kid that's going to be building this, or you're going to be sitting down and building it with him, this one probably will be a little easier to put together of the two. But still, very, very cool pieces coming to us from K'NEX. Today's toy spot, let's just put that down right there. Today's toy spot, bringing the booklet once again. Today we're having a look at the K'NEX Building Worlds Kids Love the Plants vs. Zombies Football Mech. Stay tuned, guys. Even though Spot's finished having a look at the Plants vs. Zombies sets, there's definitely a lot more heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.